For anyone who has ever owned, trained, or ridden a thoroughbred racehorse, the ultimate goal is to be the best of the best. In the sport of kings, the champion's prize is this: the bronze statuette of Eclipse, the undefeated thoroughbred of the 18th century. Now, more than 200 years later, Eclipse remains the symbol of the champion.
Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America. Presented by Visa.
Welcome to Miami Beach, Florida, and to the Sheraton Val Harbor Hotel, where tonight, inside its grand ballroom, we honor the thoroughbred champions of 1996. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, along with Caton Brader, as we welcome you to the Eclipse Award dinner. And Caton, celebrating a year like none other in thoroughbred racing. What an international year of racing.
Well, Chris, the Eclipse Awards honor the very best in North American racing, but it's amazing how international that racing has become. Our champions tonight won stakes races at 24 different racetracks in 5 different countries: the U.S., Canada, England, Japan, and Dubai. Why, one champion never even set foot on U.S. soil. It's amazing how small the world has become.
So how do we decide the champions? Well, it is a combined vote of 3 separate racing entities: the National Turf Riders Association, the Daily Racing Forum, and racing secretaries at Thoroughbred Racing Association tracks across North America. 23 of the Eclipse trophies are handed out, including the Gold Eclipse for Horse of the Year. Now, let's get started with our first champion.
Well, Chris, most of our champions made their best performances on the racetrack, but our champion sprinter of 1996 put some of his biggest performances behind the starting gate. And once on the racetrack, he saved his very best for last. The prototypical thoroughbred sprinter is quick from the starting gate and plays catch me if you can all the way to the wire. But the 1996 Eclipse award-winning sprinter has a completely different style. In fact, whoever coined the term late-running sprinter must have had Lee DeJustice in mind. The 6-year-old horse came from last or next to last in each of his 4 victories last year, and he used his powerful stretch kick to overtake the front-runners at distances ranging from 5.5 to 7 furlongs. In the past, the son of El Gran Senor was known as much for his rowdy gait behavior as for his sprinting ability. But trainer Janine Sahadi worked tirelessly with the always talented sprinter to overcome his aversions. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, Lee DeJustice faced the formidable Wayne Lucas-trained duo of front-running Lord Carson and the versatile Honor and Glory.
Lee DeJustice is coming up the inside. He's coming powerfully as well. Capote Bell, Victimel trying to thread his way through. It's still Lord Carson tenaciously trying to hold out the game. Honor and Glory. Lee DeJustice, a great blur in the stretch. It's Lee DeJustice, the last to first winner of the sprint.
Lee DeJustice and jockey Corey Nakatani found a lane and roared past the front runners for a title-clinching victory. It was a special day for Evergreen farm owner C.N. Ray and a historic one for trainer Sahadi, as she became the first female to saddle a Breeders' Cup winner.
Congratulations. Congratulations,
Owner
C.N.
C.N. Ray accepted the Eclipse Award along with his trainer, then gave us a feel for the wild championship ride with Lee DeJustice.
Trauma all the time. Ask my trainer, Janine Sahadi. She knows all about that. Anyway, this horse has never had a mean hair on his body. He's just full of the dickens. A lot of fun, great to watch, not only because he was a late-running sprinter, but also because he's beautiful. He had that flowing white tail. I mean, this is a dream come true for me.
And as instructed, we did ask Janine Sahadi about her mischievous star.
I think that the potential was always there, and he was a horse. We just needed to pacify him and make sure that he was happy and content, and really do everything that we could to make sure that, you know, everything that he wanted was accommodated and taken care of, and that's what we did. And my guys at the barn were unbelievable, and Corey and his agent Bob Meldal and Carl Webster and Gary Brinson, and this was a case of a true team effort. I mean, this was not me and my horse. This was, you know, there were 5 or 6 people that were so instrumental in this horse being, you know, becoming what he was. So obviously it's a big thrill, and I'm just enjoying the moment, you know.
Yes, Janine, we know, and many more Eclipse recipients will share their feelings with us as we continue a look at Thoroughbred Racing's best of 1996. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America, is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental. Best of all, it's thrifty. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. By Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. And by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Get away from the ordinary and discover the extraordinary Las Vegas. Call your travel agent today. Welcome back to our special look at the 26th Annual Eclipse Awards. As always, the distinguished actor and great friend of horse racing, John Forsythe, was the host for the awards banquet festivities. Racing renews itself every year with its two-year-olds. In 1996, our juvenile champion colt and filly were the product of a champion and a classic winner. The 1996 juvenile champion filly, Storm Song, is a daughter of Summer Squall, classic winner of the 1990 Preakness Stakes. Both are owned by Cott Campbell's Dogwood Stables Syndicate Group that buys its clients' racing prospects at the sales. The champion two-year-old colt Boston Harbor is the son of the 1986 Eclipse juvenile champion Capote. It's owned by W.T. Young's Overbrook Farm that breeds its champions. Storm Song earned her title with two season-ending victories. First with a 4-length win in the Grade 1 Frisette at Belmont Park. And then on the day champions are crowned at the Breeders' Cup.
And Love That Jazz is threatening to go all the way on the lead. She has a 3-length advantage. But here comes Hidden Reserve on the outside. Minister's Melody. And Storm Song is cut loose. She swings into action on the outside. Sharp catching up today in the field. Turns for home. It's Love That Jazz trying to hold off the oncoming Storm Song. And Storm Song takes the lead and runs away from Love That Jazz and all the rest. Critical factor is third. It's going to be Storm Song in a championship performance.
With her Breeders' Cup check, Storm Song finished 1996 with earnings of almost $900,000. But no two-year-old in racing history made as much money as Boston Harbor, $1,928,605. Like Storm Song, Boston Harbor also proved himself on Breeders' Cup Day, but in more dramatic fashion.
Boston Harbor, who heads for home with the 3-length lead, but here comes Acceptable trying to mow him down with a furlong to go. On the inside, it's Cash Deposit. It is Boston Harbor tenaciously trying to fight off Acceptable as they come down to the line. Boston Harbor digs down deep, and yes!
Boston Harbor won 6 of his 7 races in 1996 with 1 second. But his money record came with a $1 million bonus check from the Kentucky Thoroughbred Fund for winning 4 races at 4 different Kentucky tracks. The big payday came at Keeneland when Boston Harbor went wire to wire to win the Breeders' Futurity by half a length. After the Eclipse was presented to Overbrook Farm owner W.T. Young and his daughter Lucy, Mr. Young talked with us about Boston Harbor's record-breaking season.
Well, I think to win 4 designated races, no matter where they are, with the same horse, is a formidable challenge. And I think it's a good series. And, of course, to top it off with the Breeders' Cup was a confirmation. But, boy, it's tough to win 4 races, much less 4 designated races. So it's a great thrill.
Storm Song's Eclipse was accepted by Cott Campbell, the master of Dogwood Stable. He won the Steeplechase Award in 1989 with Inlander, but this is his first champion on the flat.
Well, that's true, and we thought we might win the Eclipse Award in 1989, I believe it was, with Summer Squall, but I was mistaken. But it makes it particularly sweet that his daughter, Storm Song, did win it, and we're just thrilled beyond words.
But we haven't run out of words, and neither have these people. We'll hear from the champion 3-year-olds when we return. Welcome back to our Night of Stars at the 1997 Eclipse Awards.
Caden, we talked about the future stars, the 2-year-olds, but there's probably no more division as exciting in thoroughbred racing as the 3-year-olds. Their classic season.
And Chris, it's a lot more than just the Triple Crown races. In fact, the Breeders' Cup has become one of the most important days in the season of an Eclipse Award winner. But interestingly enough, that's not the case with either our champion 3-year-old colt or champion 3-year-old filly, since bad luck kept either from participating. For the champion colt Skip Away, a trip to Toronto would have cost the husband and wife team of Sonny and Carolyn Hine a hefty $480,000 supplemental fee. But in the end, it wasn't the money, but Sonny's untimely bout with kidney stones that kept the son of Skip trial at home. As it turned out, the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup would be Skip Away's final start of the year. It was also his defining moment as he faced the mighty Cigar.
They turn for home, and Skip Away has taken the lead. It is Skip Away in front. Louis Couture's down inside. Cigar bearing down on them. He's a length behind Skip Away with 1 furlong to go. Skip Away, tough customer today. Jerry Bailey fully extending Cigar. Skip Away might pull it off. Here comes Cigar. Cigar wanders to the outside. Skip Away, here's the finish, and it is. I believe Skip Away got it. I believe Skip Away has defeated Cigar today.
Indeed, Skip Away did defeat Cigar, achieving the stardom that seemed to have only an outside chance earlier in the season. He drew very poorly in the Kentucky Derby.
Sorry, Sonny. Number 17, the Bluegrass winner, Skip Away, with Shane Sellers is outside.
Then got post 11 in the Preakness and number 13 in the Belmont, yet had runner-up finishes in both of those Triple Crown events. Skip Away also won the Grade 1 Haskell and earned over $2.7 million, proving that determination can overcome just about anything. Champion 3-year-old filly Yanks Music certainly won her share, but had to contend with her own misfortune in the Grade 1 Acorn. While making just her 4th career start, the daughter of Air Forbes 1 was bumped, steadied, and blocked, but still finished second. The filly's trainer, Leo O'Brien, and his son-in-law, jockey John Velasquez, would make amends in the Mother Goose with a victory over proven stars Asina and Cara Raffaella. But it was the Grade 1 Ruffian that provided the ultimate showdown, as Yanks Music squared off against the all-time leading distaff earner Serena's Song in one of the best races of the year.
And the battle is joined at the top of the stretch. Serena's Song down inside. Yanks Music ready to throw. The two of them are quickening up away from the field. Serena's Song holding on. Hand ride. Yanks Music under a full-out drive is second, a half length behind. Serena's Song, 16th pole, still with the lead. Yanks Music is giving her all. Serena's Song, Yanks Music, a last gasp lunge. Here's the photo. Oh, it looked like Yanks Music got it.
Yanks Music, who is owned by Audrey Cooper and Michael Fennessy, would prevail in another classic battle with Serena's Song in the Beldame, a race intended to be her final Breeders' Cup prep. And with little left to prove against her own gender, her connections decided to take on Cigar and the boys in the $4 million Breeders' Cup Classic. But a filled ankle would keep Yanks Music in the barn on Breeders' Cup Day, denying her a chance at destiny. However, her record of 5 wins and 2 seconds in 7 starts was more than good enough to earn the Eclipse Award as champion 3-year-old filly.
When I went back in school...
And that award was received by co-owner Michael Fennessy with the night's most loquacious address. Fortunately, trainer Leo O'Brien needed far fewer words to discuss Yanks Music's career-ending ankle injury.
She's been fantastic. From day one, she acted like she could run, and we always thought she had a huge heart, and she proved it all year. She's done everything we've asked her, and we've asked her quite a bit. Taken on Serena's Song twice, and then we're going to go for the boys, and she twisted her ankle bad. And I thought it was only a minor thing, but then when I got her ready for the next race, and she done it again, she done it much worse. So they decided, the owners, both of them, thought maybe the best thing to do is retire her.
So Yanks Music is through racing.
We're very thankful.
But champion coach Skip Away will continue to carry the colors of this personable husband-wife team.
Great horse.
With Carolyn and Sonny Hine. Carolyn first as the owner. Tell us, if you can, what that experience was like. Your championship year, 1996, with Skip Away.
Great. Absolutely fantastic. Loved every minute of it.
Which do you think was his best race, your favorite race?
Well, of course, the Jockey Club, we thought that was a fantastic race. We were really crazy about him. You know, to beat Cigar is a great effort for any horse, and When a 3-year-old champ beats a 4-year-old champ, it seldom happens. I don't know when the last one was, maybe Secretariat. And we beat him on his home court. He'd never been beaten there in 6 tries. He was coming off a win in the woodwork, so I think it was a hell of a race for a colt.
An appropriate highlight to an exceptional year. Speaking of highlights, we'll take you through some of the major racing stories of 1996 when we come back.
Welcome back to the 1997 Eclipse Awards as we honor our thoroughbred champions. And as you might expect, those champions gave us some of our greatest moments. But there are many other stories to be told in the year just past.
It seemed like most of racing's major stories in 1996 centered around racing's major horse, Cigar. Named by every racing publication and fan poll as the newsmaker of the year, Cigar was the headliner in the race of the year. It was the inaugural Dubai World Cup in the United Arab Emirates for a then record purse of $4 million and still the richest race payoff, $2.4 million. Cigar overcame a bad foot, traveling halfway around the world, a deep sand track, and the challenge of his American rivals, Soul of the Matter and the Carriere, to win. Cigar would continue to make racing headlines throughout 1996. In addition to Eclipse champions, there were other headliners in 1996, including trainer D. Wayne Lucas, who has now trained a record 19 Eclipse champions. His coast-to-coast racing machine cashed checks totaling almost $15.9 million while winning 2 legs of the Triple Crown. The most dramatic of those victories came in the Kentucky Derby, with Team Lucas's Grindstone on the outside chasing Cavanier to the wire.
And down the stretch they come. Unbridled Song. Cavanier on the inside. Out in the middle of the track, Grindstone is closing stoutly. It's Cavanier on the inside and Grindstone on the outside. McCarron and Bailey. Here's the finish. Too tight to call.
Lucas saw his Triple Crown winning streak come to an end at 6 with Louis XIV's upset victory in the Preakness. But the Belmont Trophy for Editor's Note started another classic streak for Lucas. Early in the year, Frank Pissarro set a record when he saddled 14 consecutive winners at Gulfstream Park in Florida. One of Southern California's all-time leading trainers, Gary Jones, announced his retirement from the sport at age 52. Jones had more than 1,400 winners that earned in excess of $55 million. In his final race, he went to the winner's circle with Ski Dancer. Hall of Fame jockey Chris McCarron became racing's all-time leading money winner when he passed the $200 million mark in career earnings. Northern California-based 38-year-old jockey Russell Bays topped the 400 win mark for a record 5th consecutive year, winning 415 races. He also earned his 2nd straight Isaac Murphy Award with a national leading winning percentage of 28.3%. Bob and Beverly Lewis's champion race mare Serena's Song ended her career as North America's top female money earner of all time. The 4-year-old daughter of Rahi earned $3,283,388. She was on the board in 32 of her 38 career starts, including 15 Grade 1 victories. Racing's Hall of Fame in Saratoga Springs, New York, welcomed in thoroughbreds Sunday Silence, Gopher Juan, and Sunbow, along with jockey Don Brumfield and the late trainer James Conway. Hall of Fame rider Lafitte Pinkai Jr. turned 50. The winner of over 8,500 races continues his pursuit of Bill Shoemaker's all-time record of 8,833 career victories. 1996 saw the strongest bloodstock market in more than a decade, with prices up at all the major sales. Topped by Keeneland's Select July sale in Lexington, Kentucky, with a 41.6% increase. Stallion stud fees were also on the rise. The Japanese were the major international players at the sales and in stallion acquisitions, paying $30 million for the English Derby winner, Lamtara. Racetracks continued to struggle with on-track attendance, but raised purses with full card simulcasting, and in some cases with slot machines and video lottery terminals. Racing's newest track, Emerald Downs, brought racing back to the Seattle area when it opened in June. But the track that made most of the headlines in 1996 was in Canada. Woodbine Racecourse was the host of the first Breeders' Cup Championship Day ever run outside the USA. When labor strikes threatened Toronto, the Breeders' Cup took the event away, but then reinstated it, and then held its breath. But Woodbine came through with flying colors on a beautiful day with a dramatic stretch drive in the $4 million Breeders' Cup Classic as the crowning moment.
Montsassafras clinging desperately to the lead. Alphabet Soup in with an upset chance. Cigar, the heart of it, champion, trying to get him. It's Alphabet Soup. Cigar on the outside. Louis Quatorze. Alphabet Soup has scored a shocking upset.
In 1996, the Sport of Kings mourned the loss of some of its best. The deaths of trainers Ray Bell Sr., Syl Veach, and Rodney Rash. Owners Albert Broccoli, Stavros Diarchos, and Jock Wertheimer. Longtime racing official Jimmy Kilroe, jockey agent Lenny Goodman, Eclipse Award-winning turf rider Bill Leggett. But as always, racing renews itself with the promise of returning stars like Skipaway, Boston Harbor, and Storm Song, and rising new stars like Gentleman and Sharp Cat. Another year of headlines, and history is underway. And when we return, more of the history of 1996. We'll take a look at the champions whose favorite color might well be green. A look at some of the throng that gathered to honor our Eclipse Award winners here in Miami, and an invitation to join those keeping up with all the latest action in thoroughbred, harness, and quarter horse racing every week, right here on the Racehorse Digest.
Turf racing can offer some of the closest, most exciting finishes you'll ever see. And the same was true with the Turf Champions. The male Turf Horse of the Year won his title the way he did most of his races, narrowly. And the female Turf Champion wasn't crowned until after the last race of the season. The Eclipse Awards are given to the champions of North America. And never was that distinction more important than in the male turf category. In the closest voting of any 1996 race, Singspiel got the nod, becoming the first Eclipse winner in history not to have raced in the United States. Singspiel was, however, well-traveled, starting the year in England. His North American damage was done in Canada, beginning with this victory in the Grade 1 Canadian International. Jockey Gary Stevens had an easy time of it, as Singspiel was clearly in front of Chief Bearhart and division rival Mecki. A month later in the Breeders' Cup Turf, Singspiel was coupled with 3 other strong arms to form Sheikh Mohammed's powerhouse 6-5 entry, and it appeared that this son of 1990 Breeders' Cup Turf winner In the Wings would carry the day. But in the latter stages of the long Woodbine Straight, Singspiel was overtaken by his old English acquaintance Pilsudski and relegated to second. For British trainer Michael Stout, a 1-2 finish in the Breeders' Cup Turf. And now an Eclipse Award for Singspiel. The clincher for the Globetrotting champion was this hard-fought victory in the $3.2 million Japan Cup. The female turf stars spent plenty of time in this country and gave sports fans what they love most, a showdown. All the major contenders met in December at Hollywood Park in the Matriarch. Those on hand included the Irish mare Timarita, whose previous U.S. invasion had resulted in a brilliant Beverly D victory. There was Wandesta, she of great promise and troubled trips, who found clear sailing in the Las Palmas. And her Las Palmas victim, Windsharp, whose impressive spring campaign included 2 Grade 1 victories over males, and Wandesta. They were all aware that the Matriarch would decide the title.
And All Pride leads it by 3 parts of Lake. Memories of Silver, 3 wide. Duda right there in the thick of things. Timarita bottled up, will need racing room. She's hemmed in now by Dixie Pearl, 3 wide. Then it's Real Connection, and Wandesta kicks it into high gear. Henriette needs racing room along the inside as they run to the top of the lane. All Pride has led every step of the way. Memories of Silver, Dixie Pearl sweeps up 3 wide. Duda, still no clear shot for Timarita in between fillies, and Wandesta on the far outside. All Pride digs in on the lead. Memories of Silver right there. Timarita trying to squeeze her way through Wandesta. Wandesta hits the front. Windsharp coming late. Wandesta, Windsharp can't get her. Wandesta to win the Matriarch.
Wandesta holds Windsharp safe in the matriarch and in the Eclipse voting as well, winning the vote by a surprisingly wide margin. Almost incredibly, Wandesta represents the first Eclipse champion for Juddmonte Farms, winner of both an outstanding owner and breeder Eclipse in the 90s. And she represents the second straight female turf Eclipse for the barn of trainer Bobby Frankel.
Bobby, nobody campaigned harder for an Eclipse champion than you.
Well, I thought that she was a very, very good filly, and I really thought she deserved it. And I wanted people to know that the last race was the best fillies in the world, and if she won it, I thought the horse that won that particular race should win the Eclipse Award.
Male turf champion Singspiel was represented by Sheikh Mohammed's racing manager, Anthony Stroud.
Anthony, what does this mean to a man like Sheikh Mohammed, who rules racing around the world, to win an American Eclipse?
I think it's an amazing feat. I think he's very, very proud. And I think it just shows you he's always thinking about racing in the global way, and that's why I think he's so appreciative of this award. I mean, this horse was reared in Ireland. It's owned by an Arab. It's ridden by an Italian. It's trained by a man who came from Barbados. So, you know, this horse isn't sort of purely coming from England. It's got a sort of mixture of every nationality, and I think he enjoys that.
And we hope you're enjoying our coverage of the 26th Annual Eclipse Awards. We'll feature more of the winners right after this. The spotlight just keeps shining here at the Sheraton Val Harbor as the best of 1996 take their turn on the stage to receive the coveted Eclipse.
In keeping with our international theme of this Eclipse Awards evening, our champion older filly or mare was a product of a global partnership between a couple from California and a prince from Saudi Arabia.
Jewel Princess was at her very best when it counted the most, with all 5 of her 1996 victories coming in graded stakes. The 4-year-old daughter of Key to the Mint out of Jewel Ridge was bred in Florida by the Eclipse Award-winning breeder of the year, Farnsworth Farms. Trained by Wally DeLassy, co-owned by Richard and Martha Stephen and Prince Ahmed Salman's Thoroughbred Corporation. Jewel Princess opened the year with Grade 2 victories in the El Encino and the La Cañada. She then went to Kentucky and beat the reigning queen of the division, Serena's Song, by a neck in the Grade 2 Louisville Breeders' Cup. Moving up to Grade 1 company, Jewel Princess won the Vanity Handicap at Hollywood Park and then claimed her title with this performance against the best fillies and mares in the world in the Breeders' Cup Distaff.
And Serena's Song has taken the lead, but Different is coming to the attack on the outside, and Jewel Princess is splitting horses with a decisive drop. 3 fillies into the final furlong together. Jewel Princess down inside, comes on through, and she takes the lead from Serena's Song. Different will be third. Jewel Princess has won it.
For the year, Jewel Princess won 5 races, was never worse than third in 9 starts, and earned over $1.1 million.
With Rick Stephen, the owner of the Eclipse champion mare, Jewel Princess. Rick, you always give a lot of credit to Martha, and she deserves credit for you even having Jewel Princess.
Yeah, she deserves all the credit, really. She's the one that told me to buy her, and after she said buy her, I bought her. I mean, it's her baby, not mine, really.
The culmination, of course, is always the Breeders' Cup. What were some of your special moments in 1996?
Well, the Princes have ran so many times great races. I wanted this award so bad I could taste it all year long, and I waited and we rested the Princess for about a month and a half and got her ready during Del Mar season strictly for the Breeders' Cup, and this is what we really wanted.
Bill and Renee Lecco also got what they wanted. After narrowly missing steeplechase eclipses for Victorian Hill, they now accepted on behalf of Correggio.
To do this. 2 times I almost got there, and I finally did. And what a surprise, because it came late in the year, and it was a surprise in that we had a year off and really didn't know what we had when we had him. We thought he was very good, but after a year and a half, and you bring somebody out of the barn, you never know. And to go 4 for 4 after that, it's more than I could ask for.
And when we rejoin the 26th Annual Eclipse Awards, we'll jump from the equine Eclipse stars to meet some of Thoroughbred Racing's outstanding people. The Eclipse Awards also recognize members of the media who cover Thoroughbred Racing. Honors were bestowed in the categories of national and local television, radio, magazine writing, newspaper writing, and photography.
Okay, to this point, we've been focusing on, and rightly so, the thoroughbred stars, but a number of human connections deserve credit, and I think you have quite an honor roll call for us.
Bailey, Paulson, Poznansky, Sherman, and Mott. Sounds like a new kind of dream team. Actually, these folks are living a dream, and they brought out the very best and the very most in all the horses they came into contact with. Truly outstanding individuals who gave us a run for our money. This man employs several trainers in his far-reaching thoroughbred operation. This man trains for a number of different clients. And this man rides for scores of trainers and owners every year. But they will forever be known as a team, the Cigar team. And once again in 1996, they have each captured an Eclipse Award. Alan Paulson is the outstanding owner for the second straight year. In addition to being the man behind the sport's most beloved icon, Paulson led all of his peers in stable earnings with over $9 million. He raced 7 other stakes winners in this country and picked off one of Europe's biggest prizes when Zagreb romped home in the Budweiser Irish Derby. Outstanding trainer Bill Mott was certainly busy keeping Cigar on track last year, but he had several other stakes winners in his barn as well. At one point in the season, Mott trained the 3 top handicap horses in the country, Cigar, Jerry, and Wekiva Springs. Mott finished the year with over $14 million in purses and 177 winner's circle appearances. Jerry Bailey is the outstanding jockey after shattering his own earnings record with over $19.4 million. Of course, Cigar was a big help, but 1996 was a well-rounded year for Bailey. The 39-year-old rider's highlight reel included his 2nd Kentucky Derby victory this year aboard Grindstone and his 6th lifetime win on Breeders' Cup Championship Day. Yes, they are the Cigar team, but they are also Eclipse Award-winning individuals. The 1996 Eclipse Award for Outstanding Breeder goes to Michael Sherman's Farnsworth Farm, breeder of champion Jewel Princess. The Ocala-based operation bred the winners of over $9 million last year, including the versatile stake star and championship contender, Mekki. This category is sure to feature a new face every year. For 1996, it's Neil Poznansky, the outstanding apprentice jockey. The 24-year-old Canadian led all North American apprentices with 131 victories while competing mostly at Woodbine. Poznansky follows Sandy Hawley and Mickey Walls as Canadian-based Eclipse Award-winning jockeys. And that newest face on the block received his Eclipse from an old master of the trade, Eddie Arcaro. Poznansky also recognized those who made it all possible. With the dream coming true, what events or what particular people did you come into contact with that you think helped bring it about?
My agent, John Bell. He was the greatest. People I rode for, I rode a lot of horses for Samson, Stronach, you know, really popular owners out in Canada and actually all over, and they're pretty strong backing for me.
One recipient was literally at a loss for words. Outstanding breeder Mike Sherman of Farnsworth Farms passed on the acceptance speech with a case of laryngitis.
Well, Caden, it's a good thing that Alan Paulson didn't have that problem, as he made repeated trips to the stage. In addition to the Eclipse for Outstanding Owner, Paulson was honored with the Eclipse Award of Merit for his dedication to thoroughbred racing. And who assisted Mr. Paulson in winning all those awards? It was, of course, the mighty Cigar, who was named Champion Older Male for the 2nd straight year. He's coming up next on the Eclipse Awards Special.
Best of the best.
Welcome back to our Eclipse Awards Special. And you're just in time for the announcement by John Forsythe of the 1996 Horse of the Year.
Good moment. Now we come to the climax of the evening. Announcement of the Horse of the Year. Now, who have the voters singled out as the best of the best, champion among champions, the brightest of all the stars? Who could it be? Anybody there? Louder, louder. Who? Cigar! You are right, Cigar!
We have all but exhausted superlatives to describe our Horse of the Year and indeed Horse of the World, Cigar. But if you are truly known by the company you keep, then Cigar has something else to be very proud of.
The list of back-to-back Horse of the Year honorees in the last half of this century is a short and prestigious one. Kelso, 1960 through 1964. Secretariat, 1972 and 1973. Forgo, 1974, 1975, and 1976. And Affirm, 1977 and 1978. Cigar joined those ranks in 1996 when he surpassed his own single-season earnings record with $4,910,000. He began the year with 4 straight victories at 4 different tracks on 2 continents. His 1996 debut came in Florida with a 2-length victory in the Don Handicap. A foot problem kept the champion from going to the Santa Anita Handicap, but he recovered in time to meet his ultimate challenge. Cigar traveled halfway around the globe to show his class and courage in the inaugural $4 million Dubai World Cup on the deep, sandy Nad Al-Shiba racecourse on a warm desert night in late March. Cigar became the horse of the world.
A quarter of a mile to go, and Cigar has it, but here comes Soul of the Matter on the outside, and Soul of the Matter comes to press for Cigar. America 1 and 2, Pentine back in third, they've got a furlong to go, it's a duel to the line, there's Soul of the Matter the outside of Cigar, and Cigar is digging deep, he's never had to fight harder, he's coming back, it's going to be Cigar who's going to take it, after the line, Cigar by 3 parts of a length, 14 out of 14 for Cigar.
It was an international triumph like no American thoroughbred in history had ever accomplished. Back in the USA, Cigar brought his popular roadshow again to Suffolk Downs in East Boston for an easy win in the Massachusetts Handicap. He was now chasing racing history and the ghost of a legend of the turf, Citation, and his modern-day 16-race win streak. His chance to match it came at Arlington International Racecourse in Chicago in the Citation Challenge.
Cigar comes to the 8th pole, taking over by a half length. Dramatic Gold is running a mighty race on the inside, but Cigar seems to have his measure. He's starting to stretch away now. Cigar is an unstoppable dynamo. The crowd rises to a champion. 16 in succession as Cigar assumes the crown of immortality.
The record win streak would be stopped at 16 when Darren Go upset Cigar in the Pacific Classic at Del Mar. Cigar ended his career with a win in the Woodward, a second by a head in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and this 3rd place finish by a neck in the Breeders' Cup Classic in Toronto, Canada. But no defeats could diminish what Cigar had accomplished before he retired as the richest money earner in the sport, $9,999,815. His worldwide popularity helped rejuvenate old racing fans and attract thousands of new ones of all ages to the sport. He set attendance records at Suffolk Downs in Boston, Arlington International in Chicago, Del Mar in Southern California, and Woodbine in Toronto, Canada. Cigar received special retirement send-off parties in New York City at Madison Square Garden, then at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, before being sent off to his new home as a stallion at Ashford Stud in Versailles, Kentucky. Thanks again, Cigar, for the memories and for making 1996 such a special year in thoroughbred racing. The Cigar team strikes a familiar pose with cigars and Eclipse awards in hand. We'll hear from all of them when we come back. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America. The Eclipse Award Special is being brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental. Best of all, it's thrifty. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser. To remind you, fresh beer tastes better. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 1,100 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. Air transportation provided by Western Pacific Airlines with super low fares from coast to coast. This winter, take Westpac to the max, Mountain Air Express, with direct flights to the finest Colorado ski resorts.
Now with the rest of the Cigar team, of course, the owner and breeder of Cigar, owner of the year, Special Merit Award winner of the year, horse of the year, older horse of the year, Mr. Alan Paulson, of course, his trainer, Billy Mott. Quite a ride.
You can say that again.
but it's all Cigar, really, and he's made heroes out of us, I guess, but he's a real hero.
What moment stood out most to you, Alan?
Oh, I think when he won the Breeders' Cup and last year, well, the year before, really, in the Dubai race. There were so many great races, so the Oaklawn, the Gold Cup, just on and on you could talk about. It's hard to tell which was the greatest, really, when you think about it.
Alan said this is quite a team effort. Billy Mott, you've been such a key part of that. Congratulations. What a wonder horse.
Well, Chris, thank you. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and I'd like to think that everybody made the most of the opportunity, and I'm sure we're all going to enjoy it for a long, long time. And we had a lot of thrills. We traveled halfway around the world, and Cigar took us to a lot of new places, and we met a lot of new people and made many acquaintances through him. So it's been a great time.
And a great time as well for Cigar's rider, two-time Eclipse champion jockey Jerry Bailey.
I'm sure that Cigar stands out as a horse of a lifetime, but what is it really like to ride him through a year as you did last year, through all those highs and lows?
Well, you know, it's taken a retirement from Cigar for me to really appreciate what happened, because through the course of each year, I was so concentrated on each race and keeping the streak going, I couldn't appreciate it. But now I get to look back and really effectively see how wonderful of an experience it really was, and it's something I certainly will probably never go through again.
When you accomplish so much, more than one Kentucky Derby, more than one Breeders' Cup, a horse like Cigar, does it ever get difficult to have new goals?
Well, I tell you what was difficult was the beginning of this year. I was kind of down. It was kind of an empty feeling. And until the 3-year-olds started coming around and you start looking for the Derby again, it was kind of an empty spot. But now the road to the Kentucky has begun, and I'm all pumped up again.
Kate, I guess the only bad news we heard about Cigar is that his racing days are over. Of course, he's been retired to the breeding shed, and he's been joined by 3 other champions of 1996, Yanks Music, who goes to Cigar's court, Juan Desta, and Lee the Justice. But, of course, that means 6 more ready to race in 1997.
And, Chris, they've wasted little time getting back into action. Here's an update on the progress of our remaining champions. Of the 4 Eclipse champions to race this year, only Jewel Princess has returned a winner. She launched her bid for a 2nd straight older female award with an explosive victory in the Santa Maria.
And Jewel Princess explodes up alongside a cat's cradle. And Jewel Princess just an electrifying turn of speed. And Jewel Princess, the queen yet again, draws off by 4.5 to cat's cradle and top rung.
Not only did Jewel Princess start the new season right, she pushed her career earnings to over $1.5 million. Last year's champion 2-year-olds didn't fare so well, as Boston Harbor was a well-beaten 4th in the Santa Catalina after grabbing the lead briefly turning for home. And Storm Song was also defeated, finishing 5th at Gulfstream. The trainers of both champions promise better things next time around. Likewise, Skip Away lost his 1997 debut, but his strong runner-up effort to formal gold in the Don delighted trainer Sonny Hine. Sonny sees the result as putting Skip Away right on pace to reach the top of the handicap division.
There is no question 1996 will be remembered once again as the year of Cigar, but Kate, and even the great Cigar must share the spotlight.
So many champions, so many championship moments and outstanding performances, certainly worth another look back.
So even as we close this celebration of the best of thoroughbred racing 1996, the groundwork for the 1997 Eclipse Awards is already being laid. And as Jerry Bailey said, the road to the Kentucky Derby has begun. Our next stop here on Thrifty Car Rental Racing Across America is along that road, the Louisiana Derby at the Fairgrounds in New Orleans on March 16th. We'll see you there.